Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's MTPredictor video, I'd like to look at another example of our MTPredictor Holy Grail trade setup that's literally just unfolded on a 3-minute chart of the Dax. For you guys who've been following my videos for a while will know that our Holy Grail trade setup is not called that because it has a high success rate. It's called that because the profits are much larger than the losses, and this is what I think is the real holy grail of trading, is to have a trading approach or strategy where you have large profits and you keep your losses small. So I want to just show you another example this morning. It's unfolded on a DAX chart for you European traders who are following with MTPredictor. So here we have a DAX chart here. This is a 3-minute chart today, which is 19th of October. You can see we have a TS3 sell set up. Now this is against our blue STF, but for you guys who've been with us for a while, we know that for the higher trend direction we go to the or the large degree trend direction, we go to the higher time frame chart. So we go out to the 15-minute chart. The reason we do this is because we can put our DPs, which are decision point levels, on a higher time frame chart, and these are leading indicators. They're on the chart in advance before the market gets there. So I just want to turn our training mode on and go back to earlier in the day, well, just after it opened this morning, when the DAX is right the way down here. Now I want to show you that when you right mouse click on a prior pivot, you can then, you can then select what we call decision point. Now that level is on the chart in advance. It's before the market gets there. This is why we like using these higher time frame support and resistance areas rather than our STF, which is a lagging indicator like every other indicator. We want you to be prepared for these levels of support and resistance in advance. If we now go forward, you can see that the DAX rallied strongly, but look where it went to. Look where it stopped. The rally stopped right at our level. So if we now go back to our 3-minute chart, let's have a look at how this looks. So here you can see that here was the strong rally first thing this morning, but the market rallied, and it rallied right into this here, giving us a high at a higher time frame resistance. In other words, this would be deemed an important high. We then take over using our unique isolation approach to Elliott Wave, where we're looking to use Elliott Wave purely and simply for identifying a trade setup. We're not worried about how it fits in with prior patterns or how it fits in with future patterns. We're purely and simply using it in isolation. So how do we do this? Well, this is why I looked at the higher time frame chart, because here we had a high coming in at higher time frame resistance. Therefore this would be deemed an important level or important high. So we can start our Elliott Wave sequence from here. For you guys who are familiar with Elliott Wave, you'll know that the initial decline of an important high would be deemed a wave 1. After that, we then hope to have a wave 2. Wave 2s typically subdivide or have a smaller pattern that unfolds as an ABC, or a 3-swing pattern, an ABC correction. And this is what we had going up into our TS3 sell setup here. If I right mouse click, place the analysis on, you can see that that's the ABC. But because this ABC unfolded after the initial decline that unfolded at an important high, this will be deemed a wave 2. Why is that important? Because after a wave 2 you typically get a wave 3 swing. Again, why is that important? Well, a wave 3 is typically the strongest and longest wave in a completed 5-wave sequence, therefore represents the largest profit potential for the smallest initial risk. Hence the nickname of a Holy Grail, because it has large profits and small losses. So this then comes into how we then define the Holy Grail trade setup. So the target here would not be our first target, which is our normal target for TS3 setup. It would be the typical wave 3 WPT. You can see it's placed on the chart there for you. So you'd grab and drag and take this down here, and that would be then your profit target. If I clear this off and perhaps use our training mode again so I can show you how that would have looked like literally as the setup came in. There's the setup. So we place our analysis on. All our levels are on the chart in advance. So I'll just do that. We'd come down here and say we're actually looking to go to the typical wave 3 WPT. So let's have a look what this means. Well, for you guys who've been following us for a while will also know that we use correct position sizing to keep our initial risk small and under control. In this example, less than 2% of a sample €20,000 account. In MTPredictor, you have the ability to have different default accounts as well. So let's change this back to a dollar account, as that's the one I normally use. So the initial risk is less than 2% of a $20,000 account. We now then adjust the tick size to make sure that our position sizing is done correctly in US dollars, which is our account currency. So this would be our initial risk. So here we'll be looking to short one contract. With our profit target down at the typical wave 3 WPT, the profit would be approximately 5.3, or just over 5 times greater than the initial risk. If I turn training mode off, you can see this is what the DAX has done. Declined down here very nicely and made a low pretty much at the typical wave 3 WPT, where this profit would be available. So that's why I like the Holy Grail trade setups, and it's one of my favorite trade setups in the MTPredictor software program. In fact, it was the reason that I designed MTPredictor in the first place, well, pretty much 14 years ago, was to catch this wave 3. In other words, have a trade setup that allowed you to get in right at the end of the wave 2, to then enter a trade with the smallest initial risk, to then be able to trade the wave 3 and come out at the typical areas where the wave 3 is likely to end, to then have your profits as large as they can be in relation to the initial risk, which is small as it can be. In other words, profits that are much larger than the losses. And that's why we have the Holy Grail trade setup as we have here. But the whole lot was all set up because of our 15-minute chart, and because we placed our DP on our 15-minute chart, which was on there in advance. So that gave us an indication way before the market even got there that that was an area that we're looking to have higher time frame or larger degree resistance. Once that came in, we then started looking for the initial decline. We then looked for the initial correction to unfold as an ABC. Our setup then comes in. We then look to trade to the typical wave 3 WPT. And as you can see, the end result is a very nice profit of just over 5 times greater than the initial risk. So yet another example of our Holy Grail or our MTPredictor Holy Grail trade setup that's literally just unfolded this morning, which is the 19th of October, Monday the 19th of October on the DAX.